Well, hello again, everybody. Coming to you back again in the sunshiny, wonderful day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. Talking about the losing weight and working out chronicles. I don't know what day this is, but I feel good doing it. I got my knee brace on, got my new sneakers on, got the proper footwear, and we're getting at it again. But today I want to talk to you about, are you addicted to the food you eat and what sugar does to the body? Now, this is very, very important. Number one, just kind of as a joke, but I want you to think about it. If you're like me, you're probably 3 or 4 days removed now from Halloween, and you probably got about a bag or two of candy in your house. So you're going to be tempted to eat those boogers off and on for the next couple months. And that's just total junk food and sugar going down into your body. So please don't do that. Okay, please don't do that. Personally, for me, excuse me, I won't be tempted too much by that, thank God. I was really never a big candy person to begin with. I mean, I'll do candy, I like it, but I don't love it. Personally, I can go without it and I could be perfectly okay. I know for some people, sweets is a problem spot for them. Chocolate may be a problem spot for them. So I understand it, I get it. For me though, sweets like that, really wasn't my problem. My problem was like the chips and Doritos and the nachos and the Cheetos, anything with O's at the end of it. All right, that's my problem. And also too, oh my gosh, soda, especially orange soda. Oh my God, what I like to call, otherwise known as, AKA liquid crack. Okay, that's what soda is. That's what orange soda is for me. Okay. Liquid crack, okay? Those are my problem spots. Now, I will say this. Since I've been starting my journey here now for about 2 weeks, I've only had maybe 2 sodas in 2 weeks. I haven't been, 100% totally zero, but I've gone really, 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 really good, Saints. I've only had like 2 sodas in 2 weeks. I'm averaging like 1 soda a week. So I've really, really cut it out. I got my water here. I've been doing a lot of water. So I'm trying to stay hydrated, and I try to replace the sodas, i.e. liquid crack, and getting it out of my diet, okay? So I want to talk to you today about, are you addicted to your food and what sugar does to the body? Now, why do I say it like that? Number one, studies have shown that sugar is more addictive than cocaine. I'm going to say that again. Studies have shown that sugar is more addictive than cocaine. Now, why is this the problem? And unfortunately, I don't blame Americans for this necessarily. I blame the food industry for doing this to us. Around 40 years ago in the 80s, some scientists or nutritionists or medical people, whoever did it, decided that we need to get all the fat out of our food because fat's what's killing us. Especially, well, I can't remember if it was saturated or unsaturated. Again, I'm not a nutritionist, but this is just what I know. We have to get the fat out of our food. So they decided to do it. And that's why in the 80s, you had like fat-free Fig Newtons. And here's a big one, fat-free ice cream. And since it was fat-free, we told the American public that this is healthy. So you had people eating fat-free ice cream by the pint. Okay, they were just pouring it down thinking it's so healthy because it's fat-free. It's got to be good for us, right? So they were eating fat-free ice cream by the pint. Here's what they didn't tell us though. When you take the fat out of ice cream or anything like that, by the way, we all know ice cream is made from dairy products, so we know there's fat in it. So if you take the fat out of something that's naturally supposed to be fat, it's probably too good to be true, and therefore there's probably something wrong with it. Meaning if you think it sounds wrong, it probably is. Just to throw that out there, FYI. But what they didn't tell us is when you take the fat out of something, when you eat that ice cream or Fig Newton, whatever it is, when you take the fat out of it, it tastes terrible. It tastes like cardboard. So they found out when you take the fat out of food, it doesn't taste good. It tastes like cardboard and nobody's going to want it. So what did they do to make up for that non-fat? They dumped just globs and globs and globs of sugar into our food. That's what they did. And they didn't tell us that. Okay. Now they told us that on the back of the nutritional, on the nutritional information. Look at the nutritional information and see how much sugar is in your food. Okay. They took the fat out and they replaced it with sugar. Now here's the problem with that. Number one, like I said, sugar is more addictive than cocaine. So now you have all these people literally getting doped up on sugar. Okay. Because in the 80s, these food industry companies didn't tell us. Okay, number one. So we are literally getting addicted to our food because sugar is addictive, number one. That is why when you stop eating sugar, you have headaches and you go through with sugar withdrawals and you may get fidgety and your body may be shaking and you may feel nauseous and you may start dry heaving or you may even vomit a little bit because your body is going through sugar withdrawals. Why? Because your body is literally addicted to the food that you're eating. Saints, that's what's happening. All because they took the fat out and they put sugar in it instead. And sugar is addictive. The other reason it's a problem is because sugar that goes into your body that's not burned off eventually will be stored as fat. So consequently, all these fat-free items that you were drinking, it was actually making Americans fatter. Okay, why? Because they were eating all this fat-free stuff, which was just loaded with sugar now, and they weren't burning that food off. So excess sugar that goes into your body that you don't burn off is eventually stored as fat. So now you have all these people eating fat-free stuff, and they're actually fatter than what they were when they started. Because the food industry did not tell us all the sugar they put in their food to replace the fat. Okay? That is so wrong. Now, the conspiracy, if you will, goes even deeper. I don't know about you, but when I was a kid, man, I loved cereal, and I still do. Like, I love Banana Nut Crunch. That's my jam, right? You put milk in that booger, and then once again, just like orange soda for me, it becomes liquid crack. Once you put milk in Banana Nut Crunch, and that milk starts to become banana flavored, it becomes liquid crack, okay? Just like, remember when you were a kid, you used to eat that Cookie Crisp? Oh my gosh, and that cookie dough flavor used to penetrate the milk, and that milk now tastes like cookies? Liquid crack, y'all, liquid crack. Well, there's a reason for that. There's a reason why those foods taste so good, and it becomes liquid crack for you. Why? Because they're loaded in sugar. Next time you buy a box of cereal for you or your kids, because there's a lot of adults who eat cereal too. It's a great snack when you're, got the munchies and you ain't got no chips. A lot of Americans eat cereal instead. Trust me, I know. But next time you look at a box of Banana Nut Crunch or Fruit Loops or Cookie Crisp, those things are just, completely and totally made. Or Honey Nut Cheerios. I'm going to talk about that here in a little bit. They're just completely loaded down in sugar. These cereals are so high in sugar, it's pathetic. And again, if you don't burn that sugar off, it's going to be stored on your body as fat, and you're actually going to get fatter. Now, here's the conspiracy. This is where it gets even worse. If you buy like a box of Cheerios or Honey Nut Cheerios, there'll be a big old label on it that says, good for your heart, right? Basically, we certify this as good for your heart by the American Heart Association. And there's a big old label on it that says heart healthy. I even seen commercials on TV where there was a little girl giving Cheerios to her dad, and she poured Cheerios on his chest because he was like sleeping on the couch. And she poured Cheerios on his chest, and she's like, hey, Daddy, I want you to eat this because I want you to have a healthy heart. And I want you to be basically healthy for me, because I want you to be around, type of thing. So here's some Cheerios. Eat your Cheerios, Daddy, because it's good for your heart and it keeps you healthy. Saints, there's no way that's true. There's no way that's true. And I'm not even, now granted, the nutritional aspect of it, what's in it as far as how they make it may be good, but what's also in it is the sugar. Cheerios, Honey Nut Cheerios, all that are loaded down in sugar. And like I said, if you don't burn sugar off your body, it's eventually going to be stored as fat. So you're actually going to get fatter off these things if you don't burn it off. If you get fatter, your body gets bigger. And now Morning. And now your heart has to work extra duty. It has to work overtime now to pump the blood through your fatter body. I mean, that's just the reality of it. So it can't be good for your heart, because since you're now more obese by eating that garbage, by eating all the excess sugar that the cereal companies put in it, guess what? You're actually getting fatter, which means now your heart has to work harder, which means it's actually making it worse for your heart. So they're lying to you. So that little sticker on Cheerios that says heart healthy, and these commercials you see on TV saying, hey daddy, take this Cheerios because it's good for your heart, is a blatant hot mess lie. Now, you may be asking yourself, well, then why are they doing that? If it's a lie, how are they getting away with it? Number one, they're doing it because these food industries are making billions and billions of dollars off of our ignorance. And two, I hate to say it, a lot of these junk foods, processed foods, are cheaper and convenient. Okay, junk food is cheaper than healthy food in a lot of stores. So a lot of Americans do it because it's cheaper, but also too, these food industry people are doing it because they're making billions off of our ignorance. They don't care as long as they're making billions off of us, number one. But number two, the other reason they snap that heart healthy label on it, guess what? Because the American Heart Association, guess who's one of their biggest sponsors? You guessed it, the food industry, especially these cereal companies like Post and Kellogg's and all of that. Those people sponsor, okay, a lot, these cereal companies, I'm trying to get away from that noise. These cereal companies sponsor a lot of the food, Saints, that you eat. Okay? So, hey, he's actually coming down. Here we go. So, guess what? Like Kellogg's, Post, all them people like that, they're sponsoring the American Heart Association and all these other so-called medical companies, i.e. they're in bed with them, okay? So since they're in bed with them, that's what they're gonna do, Saints. They're gonna slap that label on there, morning, because their sponsors are paying them to have that label on there, okay? So just because they put that label on there doesn't mean it's true. They're doing that because Post, Kellogg's, these cereal companies are giving them money. And that's why that label is on there. They're in bed with the people that they're making money from. That's why it's there. That's why it's there, okay? I apologize for the noise. I hope it comes out good when I post this. Morning. So, these are the things you have to look at when you're eating your food. Now, this is very, very scary because all the lies out there, but it's also very, very hard because of this. Man, there's sugar in everything. Man, there's sugar in ketchup. Next time you put ketchup on your hamburger, look at the nutritional facts in the back of that booger. Look how much sugar is just in ketchup, okay? Morning. It's very, very hard because they put sugar in everything. Sugar is in everything, okay? So this may be very, very hard for you to do right off. Number one, like I said, because of withdrawals. If you go cold turkey, you may get sick, okay? Morning. But that's just your body detoxing it from all the junk you've been putting in it for years. Okay, but you got to start somewhere. But it is hard because, again, they put sugar in everything. They really, really, really do. All right? But if you can, try to eat healthy. Try to cut down on your sugar intake because it's literally killing you because it's making you fatter. And then what happens is if your body's not storing sugar as fat, to get the energy that it has to take the energy from somewhere else. Well, guess what? Morning. Instead of taking it from sugar, they're going to take it from your fat cells, which is what you want, okay? That's how you lose weight. You burn off more calories than you're taking in, and the energy you're getting from sugar, you're now getting from your fat cells, which is exactly what you want, okay? So next time you go to the store, when you start buying your favorite foods, look at the sugar at the back of it. How much sugar is in that stuff? And you'll see it is loaded with sugar. So, which is why you may be addicted to it. Because again, sugar is more addicting than cocaine. Now, my last video, I talked about discipline, and amen, you're going to have discipline to lose the weight and get in shape and all that. But I want you to think about this, saints. One, we shouldn't, body shame and fat shame people. I mean, that's just not Christian conduct. But I want you also to think too about maybe they are obese or whatever, is because they may be addicted to their food. They may have a sugar addiction and they haven't beat it. And it might be their fault because one, junk food is cheaper. But two, for 40 some years, these food companies and some of these medical companies have lied to us. They've been lying to us for decades, okay? So they may not know. So because of all that, they may be addicted to their food, okay? Hopefully, this will give you a little more insight to have a little more grace and a little more compassion and a little more, insight as to how we can help people like that. Instead of just saying, well, you're just a fat slob and you need to have more discipline, which, by the way, as a Christian, you should never do. You should never, ever, 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 ever do that. But there may be some people that are thinking that, okay? You got to understand. They may be addicted to the food that they've been eating for 40 years, okay? So just like Rome wasn't built in a day, it's not going to get unbuilt in a day either. So hopefully this will give you some more information so you can have some more grace, when you see somebody like that. And lastly, here's some good information. This will really blow your brain. Remember how I said earlier, soda for me, particularly orange soda, is liquid crack, right? But do you know Sunkist orange soda is banned in some other countries in the world because of the orange dye that's in it? The orange dye is considered carcinogenic. Therefore, in some countries, you can't get Sunkist orange soda. The same thing with Fruit Loops. Do you know Fruit Loops are banned in some other countries because of the properties that are in that? Next time you want to do a little fun research project, just Google foods in the United States that are banned in other countries. And you will see out of the 25 top banned foods, you probably have been eating 10 to 15 of them for the last 30, 40 years of your life and don't even know it. Those same foods are banned in other countries. That is a fun project if you want to do that. Foods that we've been eating in the United States that are banned in other countries. Saints, go ahead and do a research project on that and look as to why they're banned. Boy, that's a fun project. That's a fun project. Morning. So, I say all this to say, not to scare you, but I say all this to enlighten and to bless and to help you realize, we've been duped. The American public has been duped and we've been lied on. And then you wonder why we love the food that we love because it tastes so good. It tastes so good because it's loaded with sugar. And the food industry did that to us and they didn't tell us, okay? Not saying that to scare you, but to enlighten you so now you can do something about it, okay? And also look at that banned food list. That's interesting too. And lastly, if you want a really good documentary on this, I don't know, it's called Rotten. It was on Netflix. I don't know where it is now because it's been a while since I've seen it. It may still be on Netflix, but you could probably get it on some streaming service. It's called Rotten, as in like rotten food. That documentary talks about how the food and drug, or the food industry put a whole bunch of sugar in our food. And that's not even counting other foods that they put like steroids in it to make the food bigger, and these pesticides that they put on it and all that kind of stuff. That's a whole other thing too, about what they did to our food to enhance it. I.e. food that was genetically altered from its organic state so we could be bigger and better so Americans could buy it. That's a whole other rabbit trail too that we ain't even got time to think about. Okay? But watch the documentary Rotten, because it talks about how they put sugar in our food without telling us and how there's sugar in everything now. Okay? That is why Americans, as a whole, Americans are probably some of the most, compared to other people in the world, some of the most obese people in the world, okay? Because we don't have the food standards that other people have. And we load our food down with sugar. And then you wonder why Americans are big, fat, happy, and lazy. A lot of us, not all of us, of course, not all of us. But a lot of us are. And it might not be all of our fault. It also could be because we're addicted to the food we eat because of the sugar that they put in our food. All right, so be aware of that. Get on top of that. Now that you know to know better is to do better. So now that you know, saints, let's get after it. Let's get on these trails. Let's take you know, control over our bodies again, and stop having our food control us. We control it. And let's get after it, saints. Amen. Until next time, see you in the next video. God bless everybody.